Are we about to see a move down to create some kind of bear trap? And that's what we're going to figure out today, because all we see here is we're pulling back down into the 200. Yes, this is an overall correction going down about 10%, not really getting to that bear market 15% down just yet, but it looks like some shorter time frames in here could signal to us that we might be going down. But for now, I just wanted you to look at the daily scale and see how, if we were to curl up on this MACD, we would go positive. If we were to take back these moving averages, we would have ourselves a simple swing trade. So sometimes just sitting around, being patient, waiting for a base is the best move. And that's why you heard me live get out of one of my call positions just to mitigate that risk a little bit. So what do we want to find down in here in order to see if we're going to make that move up? Well, we need some kind of reversal signal. And the main signal that you're going to first need to actually head upward, not a 2-hour divergence, you're actually first going to need a 30-minute divergence. So we really like to see 30-minute divergences if this is going to behave like a bear market at this point. 30-minute divergences pop up all the time, and they can tell you when some kind of bigger bounce for the 2-hour is coming. That's what we're kind of looking for in this area. So what do we notice? Well, we're kind of coming up in this flagging formation here, going up to the upside and heading towards that daily expected move, and we see weakness at the end of the day. What didn't happen is this MACD didn't curl over. But if we're going to create that stronger base, wouldn't a move like this one really freak people out and thinking, hey, we're about to take out these lows and head lower, and then we actually end up maybe turning around by the end of the day? That is what I really want to pay attention to, some kind of forming of a stronger base to then head actually higher, or at least get some kind of more meaningful bounce. Seeing a divergence across the way here would make total sense, and so that's why we're paying attention to the daily expected moves. Okay, the daily expected moves, the upside being 530.29 to the upside, and we do have 514.01 to the downside. And look where that daily expected move is. We talked about this during the live video. We go live every single morning and most of the time in the afternoons now, so we give those closing streams. So make sure to subscribe so you can join us there. And if you're interested in learning how to trade around these type of signals, we do have those courses down in the description. They're 90% off for August, and so you can get the technicals course, which is only $100, and it will teach you so much about your indicators that you will come into the market the next day after taking that with a whole new mindset. I guarantee that. Now, what do we notice here? Some weakness coming in at the end of the day. Now, is this a fake out? We just see good earnings and that starts to rip up with SMCI or something? That's always potentially there. But what I want to be aware of here is the fact that this MACD is trying to roll over. The fact that it is below the center line, meaning negative territory, and we could be setting up a stronger base outside of that weekly expected move. This would really convince people that the market's going down. But then, and also we have to take that into consideration. This crossing over is a very bad thing. It means that this negative trend can continue. It means this can fall through the floor. If that cuts through this weekly and this daily expected move tomorrow, we could see a big drop. But what we want to be aware of is, say, if this crosses, that is really, really bad. But if it turns back up, we know that there is some weakness and momentum, and maybe we actually experience a bigger bounce here. So that's what I would pay attention to for the SPY. Doesn't mean that the work is done, but that's the most important thing to pay attention to, and I'm trying to keep this as brief as possible as I do have a concert to get to. So I'm going to do a lot of analysis on the SPY. We're just going to look at it on the Qs. But for the most part, that would mean, hey, if we make a move like this, maybe down here we actually have enough energy to curl up that 2-hour MACD, and then from here we have to say, is that going to just be some kind of bounce that leads to a curling down of the MACD on the 2-hour? And then this is the main signal to say, okay, now we have ourselves a base. This is all the things that need to add up in order to form a base. That's what I mainly wanted to talk about in today's video. Obviously, if the 2-hour curls up, hey, positivity can be there, especially if it's able to go, actually cross this center line on the MACD and go positive. But right now, we're not seeing that. If anything, we're seeing a rejection here towards that monthly expected move, using that as some resistance. If you need those monthly expected moves for all the stocks we cover, weekly expected moves, that is on Patreon. That link is in the description as well. So let's go over to the Qs. Once again, the Qs, let's zoom out to the daily scale. See where we're at. Well, we're testing pretty much the bottom of our big channel we've been in pretty much since the last bear market, since the last time the lows down here of 2022 going into January 2023. We are still within that channel. We're testing that area now. So it is likely to find a bounce from this area, a more solid bounce than this one, I would say. But at the moment, we see kind of some wicking in this bar. So we want to see, are we going to actually test the bottom side of that range, that kind of that oh gosh, what am I trying to say here? I'm kind of blanking for some reason as I'm talking, but the 30-minute is what we're going to want to watch. So the 30-minute here is the first time frame we got to see. Good thing is we do have some daily expected moves for you, 448.58 to the upside, and we do have 430.48, and it's channel. That's the word I'm looking for, the channel, because if this curls down, it's below all the moving averages. That's your first indication. Remember that the MACD is lagging behind. Price action gave you the indication, and the RSI is giving you the indication that we're about to head a little bit lower, but we'll see what happens with earnings. Plenty can happen with that. Good news for SMCI could mean good news for Nvidia, could mean good news for AMD, could mean good news for Microsoft. So we'll pay attention into tomorrow. But as of right now, these are telling you that the most likely direction is down for now, especially if this MACD catches up and curls down. Then you know you got that confirmed move down. And look at that daily expected move right by the weekly. So down towards this area, a point where you can make a divergence from. If we wanted to curl down for a brief moment, maybe we're able to build back up, right? We want to assume, right? We don't want to take into consideration that this has to happen. We want to say if this crosses, that is very bad. So the RSI is already telling you it's bad, the price action telling you it's bad, just waiting for that confirmation of the MACD to tell you it's bad. But right now, this is overall saying, hey, we could head down maybe to make a stronger base and then see that curl up. But we want to treat this as this is very bad. We're continuing the negative trend. But if it does see that bounce up, we are ready to react as we come outside of that weekly expected move again. This is where we'll be posting some stuff on Patreon, and a lot of stocks have this look. And it doesn't mean the job is done from there. We still could see more basing out structure. What if we actually do see a strong move from the Qs down towards this area? Maybe we do this, or we just see that curl up right now. What if we just see the 2-hour curl up right now? Well, that still could mean either way this plays out. Whenever the 2-hour curls up, we could need to create a stronger base on the 2-hour chart to turn up the daily scale. So let's just say we do something like this, right? That would make a lot of sense going forward to see this type of price action from the Qs to really create a strong base. Look at that form there, that W, and that would create a pretty strong base there. So I would pay attention to these type of things going into tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow morning to talk about the current price action that's happening. Obviously, as the price action comes out, we can talk more about it live, not just on a YouTube video after everything's said and done. While the price action is happening, that's the most fun time, and that's where you can read into charts the best, in my opinion. But for the Qs, what we want to pay attention to is a lot of 30-minute charts, okay? 30-minute charts look like, hey, downside looks like a direction we should be paying attention to at this moment. You have now a daily expected move down towards 430.48. It's just a 68% zone. So if we do make a move outside of that early on in the day, hey, 68% chance to cross up and 68% chance with that weekly, these purple lines, to actually cross up and end there by Friday. So I'd pay attention to that. A lot of stocks are going to look like this, though. A lot of stocks looking like 30 minutes want to curl over to make a stronger base. So we're going to be paying attention to that a lot. Apple is one of those stocks. And as you can see on the 2-hour, we were not able to curl up yet. So maybe there is more work to be done for Apple. I just want to keep it brief and keep it simple for you. Right now, the price action getting like this. Yeah, if you keep going up, okay, you're still bouncing at that point. Once you go positive, we can talk differently. As of right now, kind of coming down, not able to test the high, make a new one or anything like that. We are curling down, which if this curls down on the MACD, maybe it's brief, maybe we go make that divergence, but initially we have to treat it as this is very bad if that curls down. If this curls down, we have to treat it as this is very bad. That's the first step. But if it gives you a signal for a trade, that's when we kind of flip the script and we react. We trade like water on this channel for a good reason. Tesla is another one, right? So as we look across, you're going to see a lot of charts look like this where the 30-minute is building up to that center line and it looks like it could curl down to create a stronger base. So this is the one where I mitigated my risk. I got completely out of Tesla. I still have Nvidia at this point, but I got out of Tesla just in case this actually does curl over, in case Nvidia curls over too, and then I have a scale in opportunity here for Tesla. But we can notice from Tesla, if you go look at the 2-hour chart, this one has not curled over yet either. It is very close. So if that does curl up, hey, I should expect some kind of bounce from the 2-hour. But if the 30-minute rolls down, that's just impossible to happen. So we might be creating a stronger base before we actually head to the upside. That's what I'd pay attention to for Tesla. As we look at Amazon here, hey, curling up. What's it doing? Getting close to the center line again. So this is what you look for after earnings. Big drop. Okay, now we get close to the center line. We curl down again. The only thing you're waiting on here is the MACD. If that confirms down, we might see further downside. Good thing we have weekly ranges and things like that as well. So we'll pay attention to that. But we do have weekly ranges for Amazon. If we react down to those levels, see some reversal signals around there, see some kind of divergence, you're seeing a theme here here for what I'm looking for tomorrow. I'm not saying that if this curls over, we can't see something awful happen. Volatility is extremely high. So that is something to note. But if you see it turn around, you have to be ready to react. You can't say if there's divergence here and you start to bounce and you see 2 hours crossing, you can't keep holding on to the short side. You really can't because you're seeing reversal signals in front of you. But first of all, you just have to note if that crosses, it's really bad. If it turns around, great. I have a trade setup opportunity. That's how I look at these type of markets. That's how I look at bear markets. I'm like, let me treat this as very bad, but if it sets up, awesome. I know that I can react. As far as it goes for Nvidia, this one a little bit different for one reason. The 2 hour has crossed, so that's the reason I'm overall still holding Nvidia. We can see that it's seeing some upside pressure here in the post market, but still, if it wanted to, it's giving all the signals that it needs to curl down. Now, one thing about Nvidia, notice where that MACD is. We talk about this in the swing trading course a little bit. The positioning of the MACD, it was able to go positive, which means you do have probabilities for a higher low, even if that curls over. But if that curls over, we should still treat it as bad, as negative territories right there. You can still test the logo, make a new one. This is not overly positive to really convince you a higher low is coming. So we can pay attention to this. If this is able to turn down, maybe we get that reaction to 95.63. We see that bounce back up or create some kind of double bottom, some kind of divergence down in this area. That's what I will be paying attention to. And then I'll also be paying attention to if that 2 hour crosses back down. But for now, 2 hour divergence has confirmed. So right now, Nvidia telling you something a little bit different, saying, hey, I have divergence. It has confirmed. And so upside is the most probable option for the 2 hour. So just really pay attention if this 30-minute crosses over early on in the day and sets up some divergences or something like that. AMD, this one here has been experiencing some weakness. It already has set up the divergence, right? We see the flatness down here in the price action. We see the upward move on the MACD. We see that upward move as well on the RSI. So you do have it. It just hasn't confirmed anything. So as of right now, we have to be negative on the stock. If that changes, hey, we can flip the script, right? I always say this, I'm like trading like water, being a flip-flopper in politics is a bad thing, but being a flip-flopper while being a trader is a fantastic thing. You're always willing to be open to the other side. If this curls up, positivity, but as of right now, that has not happened. So we should expect more negativity until that changes. And that could change right away in the morning, right? I'm not saying we have to go make these divergences. I'm just saying that's a lot of the time how we create the stronger base going forward. Meta, what do we notice here? Well, we had the high, now we've come down, we got the swing trade, now we're coming down again. If this crosses down, hey, you still can hold up a little bit better as the MACD positioning is a little bit higher up. But if this is going to be a dramatic fall, maybe you just react to something like 453 and then we actually get a reaction up to take us lower. So we'll pay attention to this going forward. The 30-minute crossing down would be still a bad sign, but it overall would say more so for Meta, this could be a pullback that could turn back up pretty quickly. As we look at a 2 hour, you're just noticing some stuff here. If that 2 hour starts to experience weakness, there might be more happening here is what I overall would say about Meta. As we look into stuff like AMC and GME, very, very cool signal here at the end of the day. You'd really like this to end with a strong bar right here, but you did get this to curl up and it's pretty close to going positive here for AMC. So even though the market really selling off at the end of the day, AMC kind of ending flat there for that last bar, up 2.63%. Okay, we'll see if this has any steam in it. We got to see a little bit more price action, got to see a little bit more upside to go positive, and then that positive trend might be there. And it could be a big moment for AMC. I just want to be aware of that. And then I want to pay attention to 573 because that is where we could actually experience some kind of squeeze. So that's the level I'm paying attention to for AMC. If that positivity comes in, this is where I expect them to fight the stock, halt the stock, do all those type of shenanigans to stop it from really squeezing past that level, because that's what that level is. It is a squeeze level, and that is something to pay attention to. GME, you're seeing a similar thing, just negative. So that's the problem with GME right now. Negative territory for GME, not a good thing. And by the way, AMC as well on the 30-minute can see that rollover. You see that as well. So we can see a rollover for AMC as well. Don't think it has to go positive because of the 2 hour turning up for a moment. You can just curl down on this MACD and boom, everything is heading to the downside again, and that 2 hour might cross right back down. GME, similar boat, right? If that does curl down, hey, a lower high is a little bit more potential there for that, as the MACD is a little bit higher up. But when we go into a 2 hour, this overall, this circle down here just tells you, hey, this is telling you one thing. It's saying, hey, I'm bouncing. but doesn't mean I have to overall go positive here. That's the big thing. Is this strong enough to take you positive, or is this going to get close to that center line and just rotate back down like we're seeing a lot of stocks do on the 30-minute charts? So that's what I'd be paying attention to for GME. Remember here that the daily scale is the most important thing for GME and AMC. Are these curling up and going positive? So AMC actually looks a little bit better than this. I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, but you can see AMC, positive territory, positive move. If you get above that 200, you could see something crazy, right? So GME actually showing, hey, I'm a little bit more negative, but if I do cross up above these moving averages, just a little bit of price action there, we actually can see some upside. Now that would be about a 15-20% move in order to do that. But if you start to take these back, you curl up on this MACD, you're very close to going positive. So as you go down towards the 200, hey, maybe some buyers are stepping in. We'll see this tomorrow with some more price action. Join us live so we can talk about it with you. Now, volatility, one thing to pay attention to here, something massive that we just noticed in the closing stream, and I'm glad that I noticed it, is this. This is a major crash signal, just so you're aware. This is a major crash signal. I want to be very, very clear about it. This is something to pay attention to. You have the 50 crossing the 200 right now, and that is a sell-off signal. If you want to go back into the past and you see where volatility really kicks up, well, the 50 not able to cross the 200. You see volatility really kicks up, and then it's not able to fully cross 200 and it fades back down. Those are signs of short squeezes when you start to break back below these. So that's what we will pay attention to. With volatility, the only problem is it's way up here. So that's going to take a lot of pressure to get back below this. If anything, if we see some upside, we actually could see this react off of that level. The main thing to pay attention to when you see the signal is the 50 remaining above the 200, and are you using it as support? That's going to be the big deal with volatility. Now, at the end of the day, just so you are aware, the 30-minute was able to curl up, and it's within range of going positive, but it's still pretty negative. So a lower high is potential here. So what we're going to pay attention to tomorrow is, do we get a lower high from volatility and a lower low or something like that from the SPY, creating that divergence? This will be a major signal that we are about to see some kind of short squeeze. So even though I believe we might head to lower levels, it doesn't mean that the reversal signals to the upside actually can't show themselves. So we'll pay attention to that for you. Please join us live so we can talk about it with you, because as of right now, this could just be turning up to go higher as that daily 250 have crossed for volatility. So I'd really pay attention to that, because you're getting that reaction down like we talked about a couple days ago. If you look back a couple of days, I said, hey, this could turn down, retest this broken wedge, and then start to turn back up. And that looks like what is happening as of right now. So let's pay attention to this going forward, because volatility, this, we have to treat it like this is awful. But if it makes a lower high, okay, let's be ready to react. Are we seeing other signals in the SPY and the Qs? That's what I think we need to pay attention to as far as tomorrow goes. But for now, I think the main takeaway here is really got to trade like water. You really have to trade like water in an environment like this. If you need help with this kind of stuff, take the course. I know it's something that I'm kind of pushing today, but overall, it will really help you understand what is going on, what I'm talking about in my live videos if you take that course, because you can understand those weekly ranges, understand divergences, and understand this price action and this behavior a little bit better. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. I'm about to go to a concert with my wife. I'm very, very excited. So thank you guys for the well wishes. I look forward to trading with you guys tomorrow morning, and I hope that we can find some good momentum plays, some plays that we can really learn from. I think that's the important part about this channel, is it is dedicated to learning so that you can make better decisions and we can have some fun while doing it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.